to another video. I believe this is part 7, working on our F-22 Raptor right here. This is by Hasegawa. It's a 1/48 scale model kit. So please load that intro and we'll get started. Well guys, we are working on this guy here, this big black plane. You guys saw last time I had a whole bunch of clamps all over this. Gluing the two halves of the fuselage together is a bit of a challenge because of the intakes on this kit. Okay, that's going to be your biggest challenge, is getting the intakes to fit in there nicely and be able to close up the fuselage, especially around the areas of these intakes. Guys with a keen eye, you might notice I've got some putty in there, filling in some gaps and stuff like that. I need to kind of sand that down a little bit and make it nice looking. Okay. Today mostly is going to be about paint, and at least preparation for paint. You guys have seen, I'm sure you guys have seen lots of pictures of F-22 Raptors. They got quite the interesting paint scheme on these guys. Now, first thing I got to do with this, obviously, is I need to spray down some more primer on these parts where I sanded, and also on these areas here, which don't have any primer on them at all, or at least they do. This has gray primer, but I want to get it uniform, all one color and stuff like that, so that when I do lay down the paint, it's actually going to be all the same tone, right? So that's that. I did put the canopy on there. It is not glued, I just have it fit in place. It's a very tight, precise fit on this kit. It actually goes in there. I can do this, I can tap it and whatever, it's not going to come off. That is one nice thing. The lines are absolutely perfect. Hasegawa did a great sculpting job on this one. We'll give him kudos for that. But like I said, today mostly is about getting prepared to paint. Another thing I did off camera was I put primer on my fins and tail fins and everything that we did last time. We assembled these last time, so I hit them with a coat of primer so that those are ready to go. I'll switch the camera up and I'll show you just kind of what I'm doing and looking at here, okay? So we have our color patterns that we're supposed to do on this plane, and basically it's 3 different shades of gray. Okay, we've got our main gray here, that's the bulk of the plane, and then we've got our dark gray, and then we've got a lighter gray that's kind of like a trim that goes around in a lot of different spots. Okay, basically 3 different shades of gray. Now I've gone through, and now at the beginning of the book they tell you the colors that you're supposed to use. Okay, they got a color call out chart here, all our numbers and then all these FS numbers. And well, I did a little bit of research online to find out what colors might be good in the Tamiya. As you guys know, I like to use Tamiya paint as much as I can, and so I found that our lightest gray is supposed to be a mix of XF80 and barley gray. Barley gray I could only find in the Mr. Color, and that actually is barley gray. And so I have never mixed Mr. Color and Tamiya paints before, so that's going to be an interesting thing for me. I've never done it. I got to do a little test on that, but basically XF80, which is, oh, I just happen to have it, the Royal Light Gray XF80. We're going to mix these two. It's all 50-50, right? So I'm going to do a little test right now before I do anything. I just want to see if these two guys actually go together and if they are happy or not. So I'm going to grab a little mixing cup. If they go together nicely, then I'll put them in a jar so that I've got, I'll have it ready and already mixed for later on. I just realized I don't have any, I didn't put my little balls in there. I keep a lot of these stainless steel balls for mixing. It shakes up that pigment really nicely when you're trying to, ooh, this is very full. Why is that one so full? might already see how thick that is. My Royal Light Gray, this might already be thinned. So let's mix this up. Get that pigment mixed up real good in there. Okay, and we'll do the same with our Mr. Hobby. Mr. Hobby, obviously a very thick paint. Let's see. Yeah, that is a thick, thick paint. Very, very thick paint. I can't even hear the ball shaking around in there. That is very, very thick. I'm going to put some thinner in that. I believe Mr. Hobby is thinned. I know you can use their thinner, their leveling thinner, or we could use just rapid thinner. I don't think it really matters. I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to be testing thinners when this is the only one I have. I'm pretty sure lacquer thinner works fine. We're gonna find out. Put some lacquer thinner in that. Get this a little more. Good thing the lid's on. Now I can finally hear that ball shaking around in this. See? Now we can hear it. There, we got a lot more uniform color now. So, we want to mix these 50-50. Okay? So, I don't need a heck of a lot of paint. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take a little Sharpie. And I figure that's going to be enough right there. Twice that amount is going to be more than enough to paint this plane, I believe. Okay. So I will fill it up to that line. There we go. I'm actually going to use another measuring cup. 2 measuring cups. Okay. And we'll do the same on this one. Now that was at the fluid ounce level. This one here. Okay. We'll get our Tamiya. There we go. Okay. Yeah, my Tamiya is very thin. I think I've got this thinned for airbrush. And that's why. So normally what I do when I've got my paint pre-thinned, I'll write a T on my label. And I don't have that. This one is definitely thinned. Okay, so we're going to pour this into here. And we will mix them up and we will see if these two go together nicely. They look all right. I'm not seeing any clotting or anything like that. They look like they're going to be happy together. So there we go. We have our color. So I'm going to put that in this jar. No, I'm not. That jar is filthy. I got to clean that jar. I'll use this one. Okay. This is going to be, I could use a little bit of extra more thinner in this. That would be fine. More thinner just means your paint goes a longer ways, and so this is going to be, this is where labels come in handy. So I like to do this, just to tape, and I get a Sharpie. This is the XF80 and barley. Okay. There we go. Okay, there's color number one. Now what I'll do is I'll clean out my cups. I mean, why bother cleaning the cups? Well, why waste them? They're perfectly good cups, but at the same time I don't want to be mixing my colors with others. I want my colors to be somewhat pure, right? So if I can have it clean, then why not, right? Okay, wipe this clean. There we go, nice and clean. Okay, ready for the next color. So we're going to have to do this again. Now, one thing that's interesting, the next two colors have metallics mixed in them, which is interesting because I've never seen any other plane where they want metallic paint mixed in with the base color. That's going to give us our two main tones for the rest of it. And there's our other cup. Okay, that's all clean, done. So our other main colors, we'll put these aside. Our other main colors are these ones. So the main body of the plane, see the one we've already mixed is this one with the barley. So that's a lighter gray that's going to go like on the cone, on the nose cone, around the canopy, inside the intakes, around the perimeters of our tail fins, all of them here. And when we flip over, we've got the perimeter around our wings and our elevators, all those places like that that have that lighter gray. That's what that's going to be. Even these little strips along here along the flaps. Okay, all these different parts. Now when I built this kit before, I didn't realize that the decals were going to be those. So I tried painting, I masked off these little triangles and stuff like that, and these rectangles to do those, because if you look at this, it looks like those are all the same color, but these are actually decals. Anyway, so the next one we need to do is XF87. XF87 is this one here. That is the IGN gray. Okay. And the color they're calling out is SM03. SM03, when you look at the beginning of the book, it's a unique color. SM03 is super iron, and under their super metallic series. SM03 is super iron, SM04 is super stainless. Okay, so, and we're going to do, again, 50-50 mixes of both. So basically what we're doing is we're making this into an iron metallic color. So what I've been using for my iron is gunmetal. So I happen to have gunmetal here that's thinned. And so you mix these two and we're going to get that dark gray color on the plane. So do I have balls in this one? I don't think I do. So I'm going to open this up. Drop a ball in there. This gunmetal's already thinned, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, and then this one is already thinned. All right, so again, we're going to do 50-50 mix. Let's turn this so I can see the little line, or measuring line. Okay, that. And then this one. I think what would be a decent compromise, if you didn't want to mix your two colors with an actual metallic, I think what would be a good substitute would be to mix a little bit of like metallics into your clear coat. So now that it's actually mixed, that gunmetal has really kind of disappeared in here. But if it works, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, I'm going to grab another jar. Pour it in here. This similar thing, I think I'm going to I think I will thin this before I actually spray it also. Okay, grab my thinner and we'll clean these out yet again. Because we have another color to mix. right. Another cup cleaned, ready for more paint. Clean this up. All right, I think we are ready. Okay, clean again, ready to mix two more colors. So, our last two colors are going to be the XF20, which is the neutral gray, okay, and our SM04, which is our super stainless, okay. So stainless steel is pretty good. I could try the light gunmetal. I don't think that really represents stainless steel very well. Another thing I could try is LP70. This is gloss aluminum, but I don't know if XF paints and LP paints really mix, because this is lacquer and this is enamel, so I don't think those are going to mix. I don't think the LP paints will mix with them. I need to use an XF paint, which I just realized that now. So I think the light gunmetal, I can't even do the light gunmetal. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to grab my plethora of Tamiya paints. Okay, I'm gonna have to grab my big box of Tamiya paints and see what I can mix. What metallics do I have? Let me see here. Because like I said, I just thought of this now that I can't mix the two paints. So I have my box of metallics. Let me see what I've got here. I have XF16, which is flat aluminum. I've got titanium. I've got X11, which is chrome silver. That one might work. Okay, so I am going to go with the chrome silver, X11. That's what I'm going to go with. Do I have a ball in there? No, I don't. It's been sitting for a long time. This one, also no ball. Got no balls. Need to put balls in there. Bing. Okay. Get these stirred up, shaken. I want to put my lid on this one. I should label this one. I forgot to label it. This one was the XF87, right? Yes. XF87 and gunmetal. those two done. Okay, let's mix these up. Okay, that was done. Well, let's put our lid on this one. Of course, it is important to shake it long enough. Now, of course, you can hear that thing going. I've got a motorized paint mixer there. It vibrates the bottle. Okay, there we go. To me, I calls this chrome silver. It ain't nothing like chrome silver. In fact, they make another paint that looks closer to chrome. I mean, I've sprayed the lid on this. I air sprayed this, okay? And here's this one. This is sparkling silver, and that looks closer to chrome than the other one. But it's LP paint, so I can't trust it for mixing with these. All right. We can mix these two together. Bing. I don't believe either of these have been thinned. This really just looks like a form of silver. No, it's mixing. Yeah, the silver just kind of disappears in it. This is going to be our main color for the whole plane. Okay. So we'll grab a third jar. Here we go. This is our main color that's going to cover the whole plane. And see now this way, because I reused those cups, oops, I just broke my brush. Oh well, it's a good thing I got 50 more of them. So this one is the X20. X20 and X11. Okay, now that way I only used 2 cups. Now I could actually have kept those, but I don't think it's that important. There we go, this can go back in. I'll put all my metals, metallics away, because I don't need them right now. So the next step in all of this is I've got to clean up this putty a little bit here. So I want to grab some sandpaper sponges. So I don't know if you can really see on the camera. I've had to fill this in this gap in here. And so I wanted to build up this layer here. So I need to kind of sand this down smooth again and get this looking a little nicer and kind of sculpt it a little bit. Now using that, I can take my canopy off here. Using the Vallejo plastic putty, it is kind of soft and it's easily, you can very easily take too much away. So what I'm just going to go scrape away a little bit here like this to give my sandpaper a little bit of advantage. So you can see it makes it look like crap when you have dirty sandpaper, but it's the way it is. My 1000 grit is just not aggressive enough for me. So I want to use a little bit more aggressive stuff. Get in there. Is that a hair coming off my head? Just get in there and make that a little more smooth. Very gently. This sandpaper, I believe this is 280 grit. It might be 320. It's definitely a lot coarser than my 1000 bit sanding sponge. And it makes short work of this Vallejo plastic putty very quickly. Well, maybe not that quickly. Look how long it's taken me here. But because of the nature of that Vallejo putty, I'm really barely touching it with this. Right. I want to be very careful with it. Vallejo putty can really just, you're working on it where you're working it, and next thing you know, it's just gone out of the hole that you had it in. I'm just trying to get this down to a smooth finish without creating a gap. That's my whole point here. I want to make sure the gap is filled in. I think that looks decent. It's ready for some primer, I believe. Okay, but I want to put the canopy on here, which means I need to mask it first. Okay, so we're going to mask our canopy. Okay, and I think the best thing to do for masking the canopy is going to be using Tamiya's vinyl masking. They call this one masking tape for curves. It's really just a vinyl thing. You can buy 3M's version of this stuff too. It's the same stuff. It's vinyl masking tape. Okay, so use my scissors to cut a little strip. I'm going to need to few of these actually. So, where's that? Get out of here. I'm gonna need a few strips of this stuff. It wants to wrap around my fingers for some reason. So, it's one. Cooperate with me here. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Because we've got some quite the curves here. That's the whole point of this stuff. So just line that up. Like that. And what I like to do, rather than making a whole bunch of layers of tape to have to cut through, I'll trim this one. Ideally, you want to use a brand new hobby blade. But I'll just make multiple passes. There we go. Grab the tweezers. There we go. Okay. Next one. Go. Again, I like to use my fingernail. It's the reason why I grow this nail so long. There we go. Back. Oh, I gotta trim this one. There we go. Now I'll do the front. Don't think I got that lined up on there. There we go. All right. We have this line and this line. Okay. Sometimes masking the canopies can be a bit daunting, which is why some kits offer masks in the kit, even some Tamiya kits. Not all of them though. I've kind of always been curious what Tamiya would has for a criteria on whether to include masks in a kit or not. Because some kits have them and some don't, right? Go. This one I'm actually going to lift off. Just peel it back a bit here and just cut it with scissors. Luckily, somehow I fluked out and I got that exactly, with that quick little snip of the scissors, that's exactly what I needed to trim it. That is crazy. Okay. Next, I'm going to do our strips across the edges. I think along the sides. Find my edge here. Strip about that long. The bottom edge, of course, is a lot easier. You don't need this tape to do it. You could just use regular masking tape. I could have done that. But I figured, well, I'm doing this anyway. And I'm going to do the same thing with this strip, is just trim it back with the scissors. Like that. And that one is done. Okay, clean this off. Get one more strip off this. Some extra pieces that want to come along with it for some reason. Okay, and again, just trim this back. That. And that's done. All right, so that's it for this one. We're going to step up to something a little thicker, a little wider, I mean. And we'll put some strips, working our way up to the top. you don't want to have folds along the bottom edge. See what I've done there is made sure my fold is at the top, because I'm going to be laying tape over the top here. If you're not sure, I mean, who doesn't know how to lay down masking tape, really? For this little back section, I'm just going to trim a couple of little pieces. This. So. So, do the same for the front here. One more little one. One more strip. I'm going to use my wider one, my 18 mil, for the top. Starting here, straight across the top like that. Fold that down. And our canopy is now masked. Okay, and that's how she's going to look for the next little while. So let's get rid of my extra stuff here. Okay, now with that done, I can put the canopy back on. Because we have our little stuff inside, it kind of has to go in a certain way, and you're going to hear this snap into place as the front goes in and gets aligned, right? Just like that. Now she's in, right? And now I think what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to glue her down, because she's going to be permanently in that spot. Actually, I'm going to make sure I've got no dust or anything on the inside here. Actually, I've got more details to put on here before I actually do that. So we're going to pause that and we're going to continue. I've got things I need to put on the inside here. Let me put things aside for now before I do that, because I just about forgot to add in the detail. We have stuff on our cockpit here that needs to go in. J3 happens to be a clear part that I need to paint and install right there. J3 is a clear part. Number 3, this guy right here. Okay, the center of him needs to be clear green, and then his surround needs to be flat black. So let's grab some clear green. Here's my clear green. It's to me as X25. Okay. I'm not very happy with the clarity on my camera today. It's very blurry. Come on. Work. So let's move this out of the way. I think what I'm going to do is I'll get this painted and put in, and then paint this side. Get it painted and put in. Get the canopy glued on. We'll get primer put on it, and that's where we're going to end it for today. Okay. So that's it. One quick little thing of clear green on there. That's all we need. Let's get it off of the sprue here. Clean this up. If I can grab it. Now this guy, he goes right up top here. He sits in there just like that. And I've got what looks like a bit of, no, it's fine, that's fine. And that's where he's going to sit. That's going to be his home. So grab glue. I'm going to do his black frame around him. After. Okay. And that's how he sits, just like that. Okay. Give that a minute to dry because I'm going to paint it flat black around his frame there. So I need my flat black. Okay. Now technically, if I was going to leave this canopy removable, I would paint the inside of the canopy frame around here flat black also. But because I'm not, this is going to be glued on. There's no point in painting it. Because through the tinted glass, you're never going to see it. So, now we're going to paint our frame around this. Sorry guys if I'm doing this off camera, I need to see it, so it's just one of those things. I need to be able to see what I'm doing in order to get this painted properly. There we go. Okay. Now that's going to dry flat black. I'll clean up my brush. Okay. Now I can glue the canopy on. Pretty good. Okay. Get that little guy in there. Get that snapped into place. There we go. Alright. Now we'll glue it. Don't need to use a lot of glue. I mean, myself, I never glue my canopies closed. I mean, okay, if you watch my other Raptor build, yeah, I glued that one closed because, well, I made a big mistake on that one. That version of the Raptor comes with only a clear canopy and not the smoked colored one like this one does. And so I tried to smoke it. I tried to use it Tamiya smoke, and I put it on there, and it wound up being way too thick, and I ruined it. And then I tried to make it kind of a goldy color, and that didn't work, and yeah, I basically screwed that one up, and I had to glue it closed, and the thing looked like a toy. Okay, so I'm gonna spray black primer all over this thing now, and then we're gonna call it a day. Okay, so the primer I'm gonna use is just this stuff here. I also have it in the bottles. This one you just have to thin it yourself. This I'm just gonna use a spray bomb, just because it's simple and easy. Okay, so I'll start with the top, and I'll just do this. Done. Kind of focusing on the spots where I sanded and around the canopy. Should be more than enough. So that's that. She's now totally black, just a few spots. Obviously, I didn't do any on here because, well, it's already black and that's done. Okay. So now I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom here, focusing a lot in here because of all that putty, and that's actually white in there, so I need to focus on that. Sorry guys, I'm doing this off camera, I realize that. There we go. Okay. We now have a totally black bottom of our F-22. The top is already almost done. You can see through there that I need to do some little bit of better sanding on there to clean that up and get that smooth looking, because that looks pretty gnarly. All four of these spots need to be done better, right? So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it today, because I've just got more sanding to do to clean those areas up, and a little bit on the bottom too in those spots where I had to remove those little nibs. You can see on the overhead here, right there, and there, see those spots. These ones are all right on those little humps. Those look fine. But yeah, just a little bit of cleanup to do before I go any further on this. And yeah, so again guys, I want to remind you to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Got a special series going to be coming up when I do hit 1,000 subscribers. Collaboration with my fiance, and we're going to build a couple F-16s together, and that should be fun and interesting. Setup's going to be totally different too. I won't be doing it here from my place, so that's going to be fun and interesting and different. So yeah, anyway guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for all the support, and we'll see you all in the next one. Okay, so I gotta put this down without scratching my paint job so that I can turn everything off. There we go. All right, I still haven't finished my coffee. One last drip. yeah. All right. Okay, guys. You guys watching me live. We will see you guys in the next one too. All right.